A boy who wanted to be a Cinderella. Chapter 1. The boy who dreamed of a prince. Ivo was the youngest of 4. He had fair skin and a soft appearance, with a slight pink hue that made him stand out from the other boys. With slightly light brown hair and a beautiful smile, Ivo was often mistaken for a girl. Upon meeting him for the first time, people would often exclaim, oh my, you are fairer than your sisters. What a shame! If only you were a girl." Little Ivo would simply smile and reply, "But I am a boy, and I also want to find my handsome prince." Whenever Ivo expressed his wish, the adults would laugh and say, "Oh Ivo, you are the boy, you will only marry a girl." On the first Saturday evening of each year, when the kingdom's prince had reached a mature age suitable for marriage, all the eligible ladies in town were invited to the castle until the prince found a potential princess. Ivo sat on a stool, watching his sisters dress in beautiful gowns, each choosing a different color. Yellow for the first sister, pink for the second sister, and purple for the third. Their mother rushed around, doing their hair, selecting matching jewelry, and helping them with makeup. Ivo sat there with his little legs dangling from the chair, swinging back and forth, wishing he could be part of it. When his eldest sister turned around and asked, "Little brother, do I look all right?" Ivo's face lit up. "Big sister, you don't just look all right, you look amazing," he exclaimed, then hesitated before adding, "I wish I could go too." His 3 sisters burst into laughter. "Oh Ivo, no, not now. Maybe if the queen becomes pregnant again and gives birth to a 5th child, who happens to be a princess, and the king decides to host another ball, then you can attend." Ivo suddenly stood up, his face flushed with frustration, his fists clenched tightly. With a bright red face he shouted, "I don't want a girl, I want a boy." He stormed out of the room as his sisters and mother burst into even louder laughter. "Ouch," one of the sisters teased. "You're so adorable when you get angry." Ivo ran to his little corner, buried himself under his blanket, and began to cry. In his heart he knew he wanted a prince, not a princess. Why was it so hard for adults to understand? That same night, as Ivo slept deeply, he dreamed of finding his prince. In the midst of his slumber, he heard a soft, comforting voice whispering in his ear. It felt as though someone was gently calling his name. Slowly he opened his eyes, unsure if he was still dreaming. As his vision adjusted, he saw a dusky blue neon light growing brighter. Then, out of nowhere, a little blue fairy appeared, handsome, well-dressed, and carrying the sweet scent of jasmine. Ivo's eyes widened with excitement. He was so thrilled that he almost screamed. "Not a word to anyone," the blue fairy whispered as he flew closer to Ivo's face. "I am here to help you find your prince when you grow up. I know there are many boys like you who dream of finding their prince, but not many are as courageous as you to speak their truth. However, this journey will not be easy. It will require great courage, patience, and support." Ivo's heart swelled with excitement. The thought that there were other boys like him filled him with joy. He was so thrilled that he nearly screamed again, but before he could, the little blue fairy cast a spell to stop him. "Forgive me for doing this," the fairy said gently. "I don't want anyone else to know about me just yet. First, you must believe with all your heart that you will find your prince. This journey will be long and difficult. No matter how many times you are let down, laughed at, or teased, you must never lose your innocence. Never give up." The fairy's expression turned serious as he continued. "The world can be cruel, but never lose sight of who you are and what you believe in." Finally, the blue fairy gave Ivo a warning. "To find your prince, you must prepare for a lonely journey. There will be times of disappointment. The greatest challenge is that you won't always know who among the other men is like you, who is also searching for a prince." Then, with a soft smile, he added, "Now, I'm going to release the spell. But please, try not to scream." As soon as the spell lifted, Ivo couldn't contain himself. "There are other boys like me," he gasped, jumping up and down in excitement. "Other boys are also looking for princes?" Hearing the commotion, his mother rushed into the room, thinking he had another nightmare. But instead of a frightened child, she found an overjoyed Ivo bouncing up and down on his bed. "What are you doing awake at this hour?" she asked, rubbing her eyes. Ivo ran to her, eager to tell her about the blue fairy. He pointed excitedly at his bed, trying to explain everything at once. But in his excitement, his words tumbled out too fast, making no sense at all. "Slow down, Ivo," his mother said, holding his shoulders. "I can't understand a single word. Blue what?" Desperate to share his discovery, Ivo turned back toward the bed, but the fairy was gone. "He's gone!" Ivo cried. "Who is?" his mother asked. "The blue fairy!" His mother exhaled, relieved. At least this time it wasn't a monster. She shook her head with a tired smile. "First, you wanted to marry a prince. Now you're seeing fairies. Well, at least it's not an eating monster this time." Ivo hugged his mother's legs and looked up at her with bright, hopeful eyes. "I will have a prince one day," he whispered with a beautiful, innocent smile. The kind of smile that softened hearts, the kind that made people naturally drawn to him. His mother sighed, stroking his hair. She knew that smile all too well. It was the light that made Ivo who he was.